Okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to write it out a little better, how you're used to seeing it. X minus 3 squared, x minus 8. Okay, so what do they want us to find? First off, they want us to find the y-intercept. Let me bring that down here. So how do we find a y-intercept? Well, to find a y-intercept, I don't know if you remember earlier in the course, we had this. I'm not sure, is it in the notes? Is it in the, I'll say I can't remember. Maybe, might be in the other notes. Oh, there it is, yeah. Finding X and Y intercepts, yeah, because that'll come up a lot throughout the semester. It'll come up in lots of different settings. So it's a good thing to know. There it is. I'll put it in there for you. So there it is. This is, again, the exam 2 notes for you. So exam 2 notes, finding intercept. So to find an x-intercept, you plug in y0. To find a y-intercept, you plug in x0. So you always plug in the opposite letter 0 to find intercepts. So coming back here, to find a y-intercept, I'm going to plug in x0. So I'll take this formula. Now remember the function value here, this is y, isn't it? Function values are y values. So now we plug in x is 0 there and there, so 0 and 0. So we get 0, 0, like that. And so what becomes of it? This is going to be 9 times -8, -72. So therefore, now this is a point. X is 0, y is -72. X is 0. So they want the whole point. You know, whenever we do a point, we have to do parentheses, x value, comma, y value. Let me double check on the real question that that's exactly how they do number 6. Oh no, they just want the number. Okay, I didn't realize that. They just want the number this time. And they just want a plus or minus there. Oh, I see. So they just want numbers. Okay, so this one, they just want numbers. All right, so they change it up. On the exam, it won't be a problem. It'll be multiple choice, and you'll be able to tell what's going on. Let me switch back to my iPad here. There we go. Okay, so all they want then is the -72 on this one. They just want the y value. Okay, normally they want, you know, the parentheses x and y. If you're ever unsure when you're doing the homework, you know, you can just click show the answer and you can see it. Okay, so now let's keep going. So now we need to find the x-intercepts. So how do we find x-intercepts? Well, like we saw in the notes down here, right? To find x-intercepts, plug in y0. To find y-intercepts, plug in x0. You just make the opposite letter 0 to find intercepts. So that shouldn't be too bad. So let's come on down. So to find the x-intercepts, what do we do? Plug in y0. So I'm just going to take this equation again. P of x is x minus 3 squared times x minus 8. There's our original equation. And I'm going to make, remember, this is y right here, right? The function, this right here is y. So I'm going to make that become 0. Function values are y values, right? Okay, a little sloppy there. Okay, so here we are to this point. Now, you tell me what, I don't want to do anything fancy to solve this. I just want to solve by observation, just by looking at it. Can you guys tell me what can I plug in right here for X? What can I put in that'll make this piece, just who cares about the other stuff, just this piece right here become 0? What do I have to plug in for X? What minus 3 will be 0?
3.
Well, 3, yeah. You're probably thinking, is that a trick question? Yeah, 3, right. So X equals 3 will make it 0. And what about here? What do you plug in here to make this 0? Well, clearly 8. So do you realize 3 and 8 make the whole thing 0? Either one. Wait a minute, why? I want to make sure we're clear. For example, if I plugged in 3 in both, because X can only be one thing at a time. So what if I made X 3 in both cases? Well, you see, this part would be 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. Squared is still 0. Times what? Negative 5? What is 0 times negative 5? It's still 0. Do you see, since these guys are times multiplied by each other, if you make either one of them 0, the whole thing is 0, right? So if I plug in 3 in both cases, I make this left one 0, so 0 times anything is 0. And if I happen to plug in 8, if I make both of them 8, well, then I make this one on the right 0. 8 minus 8, 0 times anything will also be 0. So basically, those two values are the two ways to make the whole thing 0. So the answers are 3 and 8. So that's what we put up in here, 3 and 8. Oh, and they want the 3 coming first. Then how do you know? See over here, it says X1 is less than X2. They want the lower one coming first. This is X1 here, and this is X2 there. So 3 and 8 are the two X intercepts. 3 and 8. Okay, now on the last step, they're asking us about some infinity stuff. They're saying, okay, X, this one is saying X goes to regular infinity. The next one will be negative infinity. What's going to happen to Y? Well, let's just go down and try it. So I'm going to come on down here. Let me draw a line or something to help us separate things. Okay, so now we're going X goes to infinity, and the function is, again, we just keep working with this function. P of X is X minus 3 squared times X minus 8. Remember, this is Y right here. Function values are Y values. So if I plug in infinity, what am I getting? Infinity minus 3 squared times infinity minus 8. And I'm just plugging X in as of now. Infinity is not really a number, but it's a concept, and we can follow the concept. Let's see. So what do you think? What is infinity minus 3? Just infinity, right? You guys tracking with me? If you have an infinite amount of something, take away 3, it's still infinite. Squared, and this is infinity minus 8, it's also infinity. If you take infinity minus any finite number, it's going to still be infinity. And okay, so what is infinity squared times infinity? Well, it's positive infinity. It's not negative, right? They're just all a bunch of infinities. So as X goes to infinity, Y is going to infinity with it. So over here, we would say Y goes to positive infinity. They just want plus or minus. So as X goes to infinity, Y is going to positive infinity also. Now let's do the next part. On the next part, they're saying, okay, now X is going to negative infinity. Negative infinity. What is Y going to do? So let's come on down. We'll have to do that one too. So we're taking this. Now we're going X is going to negative infinity. Again, write the function. And we're gonna, this is y, right? Function values are y values. And I'm gonna plug in negative infinity for x, right? X right there and right there. Negative infinity, minus 3 squared and minus 8, okay? So what is negative infinity minus 3? Well, that's just negative infinity, isn't it? And what is negative infinity minus 8? Well, it's still just negative infinity. Okay, and what is negative infinity squared? Well, that's going to be positive infinity, isn't it? And then times the other negative. So positive infinity times negative infinity is negative infinity. There it is. See how I reason that out? As x goes to negative infinity, y is also going to negative infinity. Now, they won't always go together. Don't think, oh, it's just always the same. It's not. It can reverse. But this time came out the same. So our answer up here would be negative infinity on that one. Do you see how I reasoned that out there? So as x, I just plugged in negative infinity for x, negative infinity minus 3, and negative infinity minus 8, so negative infinity, squared this one, which made it positive. Positive times negative is negative infinity. And so there we go. We did a lot of analysis of that function.